The night sky above Earth was calm, stars shining like diamonds across the black ocean of space. People slept in their homes unaware that something strange was about to happen. Far above them, beyond the reach of telescopes, a silent shape drifted closer. It was not a meteor, nor was it a human-made satellite. It was something different, something alive with strange light. At first, the astronomers in a small observatory were the only ones to see it. They argued with each other, trying to understand the strange readings. One young scientist shouted, "It is slowing down, it is not falling, it is stopping in space." The others stared in silence. They all knew what that meant. It was controlled, not an accident. News spread quickly. Soon every government had their eyes on the sky. Military radars locked onto the object. Fighter jets were placed on high alert. The world held its breath as the silent visitor moved closer. It did not attack. It did not answer radio signals. It simply hovered above the Earth like a giant shadow. The object was shaped like a crescent moon, black metal shining with faint silver veins. It was beautiful and frightening at the same time. From its surface, strange patterns of light rippled like waves. No one knew what they meant. People on Earth began to panic. Some prayed, some cursed. Others simply stared at the sky. Children asked their parents, "Is it aliens?" But the parents had no answers. For 3 long days, the ship stayed in orbit. Governments tried everything to speak with it. They sent radio signals, flashing lights, even music. But nothing worked. The visitor stayed silent. Watching, waiting, the world grew restless. Protests began in the streets. Markets crashed. Fear spread faster than fire. Then on the 4th day, something changed. A beam of soft white light reached down from the ship, touching the ground outside a major city. Soldiers surrounded the area, weapons ready. Helicopters circled above. Tanks moved into position. But in the middle of the chaos, the light slowly faded. And a figure appeared. It was a woman. Or at least she looked like one. She was tall. Her skin glowing faintly like silver under the sun. Her eyes shone with a strange blue fire. She wore a simple robe flowing like liquid metal. The soldiers pointed their guns at her, but she did not flinch. She raised one hand and spoke in perfect English. "Take me to humanity's leaders." The soldiers froze. They had expected strange sounds. Unearthly speech, not clear human words. The woman stood calmly, her gaze steady. It was as if she had rehearsed this moment for centuries. One soldier whispered, "She is not human, but she is not our enemy." Still, no one dared to move within hours. News of the encounter reached every corner of the Earth. Television screens showed her image. Social media flooded with questions. Who was she? Why was she here? Some called her a savior. Others called her a demon. Religious leaders argued. Scientists debated. Ordinary people only felt fear and wonder. The governments finally agreed to take her to a hidden facility deep underground. She walked calmly, not resisting, not afraid. As she entered the secured chambers, cameras captured every detail. Her face was beautiful but strange. Her movements graceful like water flowing over stone. The generals and scientists sat around a long table, watching her carefully. The alien woman looked at them with calm eyes and said, "You are not alone in the universe, but you are in danger." Her words sent a chill across the room. The generals leaned forward, demanding answers. The scientists scribbled notes. The politicians exchanged nervous glances. But the woman did not give them all the truth. Not yet. Instead, she gave only a warning. Her eyes glowed brighter as she whispered, "What you think you know about the stars is a lie. Soon, others will come and you must be ready." The chamber grew silent. The air felt heavy. Outside, the world waited for answers. But inside that room, only one thing was certain. Humanity's destiny had just changed forever. The underground chamber was silent as the alien woman stood before humanity's most powerful leaders. Her silver glow reflected on the steel walls, her strange blue eyes scanning every face in the room. She looked calm, but there was something hidden behind her calmness, something heavy. The generals whispered to each other, wondering if she was dangerous. The scientists leaned forward, eager to study her. The politicians stared, calculating every word. Every camera in the chamber focused on her, broadcasting her image to hidden monitors across the world. She raised her head and spoke again, her voice soft but sharp like glass. "I came alone, not as an enemy, but as a messenger." The words echoed through the chamber. Some felt relief, others felt more fear. A messenger for who? A messenger for what? One of the generals slammed his hand on the table, demanding, "Why Earth? Why now?" The woman turned slowly, her silver robe shining like liquid light. She answered without hesitation, "Because the time is short, and your world is not ready for what is coming." The room fell into chaos. Politicians demanded explanations. Scientists begged for details. Soldiers tightened their grip on weapons. The alien woman only raised her hand, and the lights in the chamber flickered. Screens went black. Microphones fell silent. It was as if she controlled the very air around her. Then, a strange image appeared in the air above the table. Not a screen, not a projection from any human device. It was a vision she created herself. A swirl of stars, galaxies, and distant suns filled the chamber. The leaders gasped, watching planets spin, comets race, and black holes bend the light. She pointed to one corner of the vision. "Here," she said. A red light pulsed like a heartbeat in the stars. "This is where they wait. And they are not far." Her voice carried a weight that pressed on every heart in the room. The scientists stared, recognizing star patterns. Calculating distances, one of them whispered. "That is less than 100 light-years away," another added. "She is telling the truth," the politicians argued again. Some accused her of lying, of planting fear to control them. Others believed she was warning them. A senator shouted, "Why should we trust you? You arrive in a ghost ship? You speak our tongue, you show us visions. How do we know you are not the enemy yourself?" The woman turned her glowing eyes to him. For a moment the room seemed to freeze. Her expression did not change, but her voice grew colder. "If I wished to harm you, there would be nothing left of this city. You still live because I chose to warn you, not destroy you." Her words sent a shiver down the spines of everyone present. Even the soldiers lowered their weapons. They realized she was not bluffing. The power she carried was real. She stepped closer to the table, her voice lowering. "Listen carefully. Humanity has been watched for centuries. Your wars, your struggles, your victories, they are not secrets in the stars. Others have seen your rise, some admire you, some fear you. But there are those who wish to end you before you grow stronger." The room grew heavier with each word. The scientists scribbled notes faster. The generals clenched their jaws. The politicians fell silent. Everyone understood the meaning. An enemy was out there. Waiting, the woman continued. "They do not believe in mercy. They do not believe in peace. To them, your world is nothing but soil to burn. They will not come to talk. They will come to conquer." Her voice echoed in the chamber like thunder. For a long moment no one spoke. Then one young scientist leaned forward, his voice trembling. "If they are coming, why tell us? Why help us?" The woman looked at him, and for the first time her face softened. "Because I once had a world, a home full of light and beauty. We believed we were safe. We believed distance would protect us. But they came. They took everything. I am the last of my people, and I will not see your world suffer the same fate." The chamber filled with silence again. Not fear this time, but sorrow. Her words carried the weight of loss, a story too painful to imagine. Still, questions filled the air. A general asked, "When will they come?" She closed her eyes for a moment, then whispered, "Sooner than you think." The lights flickered again, and the vision of the stars faded into nothing. The alien woman stood tall, her robe flowing like water. "You must prepare, you must decide. Will you unite as one world, or will you fall as broken nations? The choice is yours, but the time is short." Every leader in the chamber felt the same truth. This was no ordinary meeting. This was the first step into a larger universe. Humanity had always looked at the stars with wonder. Now they looked at them with fear. And as the alien woman stood among them, glowing with strange light, one thing was certain. The first contact was not just a meeting. It was the beginning of humanity's greatest test. The chamber deep underground no longer felt safe. The alien woman's words had planted a seed of fear in every heart. Leaders sat in silence, their faces pale. Soldiers shifted nervously. Scientists clutched their notes like lifelines. They all knew one thing now. Earth was no longer alone. The woman stood still, her glowing blue eyes steady. She had shown visions of the stars. She had spoken of enemies waiting beyond. But now she revealed something even darker. Her voice softened, but every word struck like a blade. "The war has already begun, you do not see it. But it is here." Gasps filled the room. Politicians demanded answers. Generals shouted for proof. The woman raised her hand. And once again the lights flickered. This time, the walls of the chamber dissolved into another vision. The leaders found themselves staring at scenes hidden from human eyes. They saw distant moons scarred by fire, alien cities turned into dust, giant warships patrolling space like hunters. Then the vision shifted closer, showing Earth itself, strange machines, hidden deep in the oceans, buried under deserts, and floating in high orbit. They looked like dark seeds waiting to grow. "This is their way," the woman explained. "They plant their eyes and ears across worlds long before their armies arrive. They study, they wait, they weaken. When the time comes, they strike with no warning." The generals cursed under their breath. The scientists stared in disbelief. "Are you saying they are already here?" One whispered. The woman nodded slowly. "Yes. They watch you even now. Their agents walk among you. Some hidden, some disguised. You think your wars are your own, but many are pushed by their shadowed hand." The leaders exchanged terrified looks. Could it be true? Could humanity's endless conflicts have been fueled by unseen enemies? One politician stood and shouted, "This is madness. You expect us to believe aliens are behind our wars, our suffering?" The alien woman turned her glowing eyes on him. Her voice did not rise, yet the room shook with her words. "Believe what you wish, but the truth does not need your belief. It only needs time, and time is the one thing you no longer have." The generals leaned forward, fists clenched. "If they are here, why not strike already? What are they waiting for?" The woman lowered her gaze, her silver robe flowing like water around her. "Because they are afraid of you," she said softly. The leaders froze, shocked. "Afraid?" One repeated. "Yes," the woman continued. "Humanity is young yet strong. You rise from every war stronger than before. You adapt faster than any species I have known. You turn weakness into power. They know if you are allowed to grow, you will become their greatest rival. That is why they plan to end you now." Before it is too late, the chamber filled with silence again. The weight of her words pressed down like a storm. Humanity had always thought of itself as small in the universe, but now they were told they were feared, and that fear had painted a target on their world. One scientist whispered almost to himself, "Then we are already at war, even if we cannot see it." The alien woman nodded. "Yes, and you must choose how you will fight. Divided or united, broken or whole." A general slammed his fist on the table. "If what you say is true, then we will fight." "We always fight." The woman looked at him with eyes full of both sadness and respect. "Fighting is not enough. You must prepare with wisdom, not only weapons. You must see the hidden enemy before the open battle begins." The leaders began to argue. Some demanded immediate action, building fleets and weapons. Others feared panic among the people. "If the world knows, chaos will rise," one politician warned. "Markets will collapse, cities will burn with fear." But another voice rose, strong and steady. "If we hide the truth, we will be destroyed without ever knowing why." The alien woman watched them argue. She knew this was the weakness of humanity, the endless division, and yet she also saw their strength, their fire, their will to survive. That fire had to be guided or it would burn them from within. At last she raised her hand, and the chamber grew quiet. Her eyes glowed brighter, and her voice carried the weight of command. "Enough. You argue like children while the enemy sharpens their blade. I did not come here to watch you destroy yourselves with words. I came here to give you a choice." The leaders stared at her, waiting. The air grew heavy, and even the soldiers held their breath. Finally, she said, "I will show you their weakness, but only if you are willing to stand together as one world. If you remain divided, then you will not survive what is coming." Her words echoed like thunder. The leaders sat frozen, torn between fear and pride. They had been warned, they had been shown. The war was not a possibility. It was already moving in the shadows. And as the alien woman's eyes dimmed back to a soft glow, she spoke once more, a whisper that sent chills down every spine. "The hidden war has already started, and soon it will no longer be hidden." The leaders of Earth sat in silence, their minds racing with the alien woman's warning. Her words still echoed in the chamber. The hidden war has already started. Some wanted to believe her. Others wanted to dismiss her, but doubt was no longer enough. They demanded proof. The alien woman stood tall, her silver robe glowing faintly under the cold lights. Her eyes burned brighter as she spoke. "You want evidence? Then see with your own eyes what hides in the shadows of your world." She raised her hand, and once more the walls of the chamber dissolved into visions. The room turned into a battlefield of images. They saw the deep oceans of Earth, far below where no sunlight reached. Hidden among the rocks lay massive black structures, silent and waiting. Machines that pulsed with a dark energy, like the heartbeat of some alien beast. Gasps filled the chamber. One general stood, slamming his hand on the table. Our submarines scan those waters every day. How could we miss this? The alien woman looked at him calmly. Because they are cloaked, hidden beyond your senses. Only those who know their technology can reveal them. The vision shifted, showing a vast desert under the burning sun. Beneath the sand lay strange towers buried deep, connected by glowing veins of energy. The scientists scribbled notes furiously. The politicians whispered in panic. One senator muttered, "They have been here longer than we thought." But the vision did not stop. Now it showed the night sky, a network of invisible machines floating high above Earth, unseen by human satellites, each one humming with quiet power, feeding information into the darkness of space. The alien woman's voice cut through the silence. "These are their eyes, watching you every second. You believe your skies belong to you, but they are already claimed." The room fell heavy with fear. Even the generals, hardened by years of war, sat in silence. They could see now that her words were not lies. They were truth carved into the very bones of the planet. Then the vision grew darker. It showed faces, human faces, men and women walking in cities, working in offices, leading armies, smiling on television screens. But their eyes glowed faintly for a brief moment, like cracks of light behind human masks. The leaders froze. "Agents," the woman said. "Some of them are already among you, hidden in plain sight, whispering in your ears, pushing your wares, shaping your history." The chamber erupted. Politicians shouted accusations. Generals whispered suspicions. One scientist cried, "How do we know who is real and who is not?" The alien woman answered, "You do not yet. That is why you must prepare. That is why you must learn, or else they will tear you apart from within before they ever fire a weapon." The leaders looked at each other with fear. Trust was slipping from the room like sand from a broken glass. Suspicion grew. Some eyes turned on their own allies, wondering who might already be compromised. The alien woman watched them carefully. She knew this reaction was dangerous, but it was also necessary. At last a general demanded, "What do they want? Why not just destroy us now?" The woman's voice lowered, filled with sorrow. "Because they feed on fear. They weaken worlds before they strike. They turn people against each other until resistance is impossible. Then they come, and no one is strong enough to fight." The vision faded, leaving only the cold steel walls of the chamber. The leaders sat in stunned silence. The alien woman stood still, her glowing eyes dimming slightly. Her words were heavy. "Now you have seen. Will you still doubt? Or will you act?" A politician rose, shaking with anger. "If this is true, then humanity must unite. We cannot fight shadows alone." But another leader shouted, "If this gets out, the world will fall into chaos. People will lose faith in their governments. Panic will destroy us before any alien does." The argument began again, voices rising, accusations flying. The alien woman let them speak. She knew they needed to face their fear. But when the voices grew too loud, she raised her hand. The lights flickered and silence fell. Her voice carried across the chamber, sharp and cold. "You argue like children while the enemy prepares their blade. I did not come to sow fear. I came to give you a chance, but if you waste it, then your destruction will be your own doing." Her eyes glowed brighter, filling the room with blue fire. "The proof is before you. The choice is yours. Believe, prepare, and fight, or deny, divide, and fall." The chamber was silent once more. Each leader felt the weight of her warning pressing on their hearts. They had seen the hidden machines, the buried towers, the agents with glowing eyes. The enemy was real. The danger was no longer a story, it was truth. And as the alien woman lowered her hand, her voice turned into a whisper that carried across the room like wind in the dark. "This was only the beginning. What comes next will decide if your world burns, or if it survives." The underground chamber felt colder than before. The alien woman's warnings and visions had shaken everyone. The leaders sat around the long steel table, silent, their faces pale. They had seen the enemy's hidden machines. They had seen the infiltrators with glowing eyes. There was no denying it now. The danger was real. The alien woman stood quietly, her silver robe shining faintly. Her blue eyes seemed to pierce through every thought in the room. She waited, letting them wrestle with their fear. At last a general broke the silence, his voice hard. "We cannot ignore this. We must act." The politicians exchanged uneasy looks. One of them whispered, "If we reveal this to the world, panic will spread like fire. The people are not ready." Another snapped back, "If we hide it, we risk losing everything. Better chaos than slavery." The arguments began again, loud and sharp. Leaders shouted, soldiers muttered. Scientists pleaded for calm. The alien woman listened, but her patience grew thin. Finally, she raised her hand and the chamber fell silent once more. Her voice was calm, but every word carried weight. "You are at a crossroads. One path leads to unity, strength, and survival. The other leads to fear, division, and destruction. Which path will you take?" The room fell still. Everyone looked at each other, searching for courage in the eyes of their rivals. For the first time, the leaders began to see themselves not as separate nations, but as one species, humanity. One scientist stood, his hands shaking but his voice clear. "All of human history has been about fighting each other. But now we face something greater. We cannot survive alone. Not this time." His words lingered in the air. Heavy with truth, slowly a politician rose. "I agree, we must unite. Our differences mean nothing if our entire species is at risk." Others followed, generals nodding. Scientists pressing their pens to paper. At last, the decision was made. Humanity would prepare, not as divided nations, but as one world. The alien woman's eyes softened. For the first time, a faint smile touched her face. "Then you have chosen wisely, for unity is your greatest weapon." She moved closer to the table, her robe flowing like liquid light. "I will give you knowledge, but knowledge alone is not enough. You must use your strength, your creativity, your will. Humanity's true power lies not in weapons, but in how you rise after every fall." Her words struck deep. The generals thought of soldiers who had fought against impossible odds. The politicians thought of nations rebuilt after wars. The scientists thought of discoveries born from failure. Humanity had always been fragile yet unstoppable. The alien woman stretched her hands and a new vision filled the chamber. This time it was not of hidden machines or enemy ships, but of human cities, factories, and ships transformed into tools of defense. Aircraft became space fighters, ships became war carriers, satellites turned into weapons of light. "This is what you can build," she said. "Not alone, but together. Your strength is not in your machines, but in your unity. You will forge weapons unlike any before, not because I give them to you, but because you will create them yourselves." The leaders watched in awe as the vision showed humanity rising. People from every corner of Earth working side by side. Farmers turning their tractors into armored carriers. Engineers converting cargo planes into starfighters. Children raising banners of hope. Humanity becoming more than a collection of nations, it was becoming one force. The vision ended, leaving silence once again. The alien woman lowered her hands. "The enemy fears you, but only if you are united. That is why they planted their shadows among you. To divide you, to make you weak, do not let them succeed." One general stood, his face grim but determined. "We will fight. We will not wait for them to strike. We will prepare our people, our armies, our skies," another politician added, "and we will do it not as enemies of each other, but as one world." The decision spread across the chamber like fire. Every leader, no matter how fearful, understood now. Humanity's survival depended on unity. And for the first time in history, Earth was choosing to fight as one. The alien woman's eyes glowed brighter. "Then you are ready to take the first step," she said. "But know this, once you begin, there is no turning back. The enemy will sense your strength and they will come sooner than expected." A silence followed her words. It was not the silence of fear, but of determination. Humanity was changing in that moment. It was no longer about nations, borders, or politics. It was about survival, about standing together against the unknown. The generals saluted, the scientists scribbled plans, the politicians prepared messages for their people. The chamber that once echoed with fear now pulsed with resolve. The decision was made. Humanity would rise. And as the alien woman watched them, her voice became a whisper that carried through the room. "The fire of your kind has always burned bright. Now let it burn brighter than ever before. For the war ahead will test not your machines, but your spirit." Outside, the world still lived in ignorance. But deep below the ground, a new future had been born. Humanity had chosen its path, the decision had been made, and the universe would soon feel the power of a united Earth. The decision had been made. Humanity would fight as one. Months turned into a blur of building, training and preparing. Across every continent, factories roared day and night. Soldiers drilled not for war against each other, but for war against something far greater. The alien woman guided them, showing them weaknesses of the enemy, teaching them how to adapt. Humanity's skies changed. Satellites once used for communication became weapons. Old cargo ships were turned into armored carriers, and fleets of fighters were built to rise beyond the atmosphere. The people of Earth worked together as they never had before. Engineers in one nation designed weapons that were built in another. Scientists shared secrets across borders. For the first time, humanity was united not in fear, but in purpose. Still, the alien woman warned them. The enemy watches, they see your strength. They will not wait forever. Her words were true, for in the far reaches of space, enormous warships stirred, dark and massive. Each one carried enough firepower to shatter a planet. They began their march toward Earth. The day came sooner than expected one night. Telescopes picked up strange movements in the sky. By morning, the world knew the enemy had arrived. Alarms sounded across cities, sirens wailed. Families huddled together in fear, while soldiers raced to their stations. Humanity's fleet lifted off, rising into the Black Sea above. The enemy ships appeared first as faint dots, then as growing shadows blotting out the stars. They were enormous, their black hulls covered with strange red markings. Their weapons glowed like molten fire. The sight alone was enough to chill even the bravest heart, but humanity did not turn back. The new fleet, forged from Earth's unity, spread its wings. Fighters swarmed like sparks of light. Carriers moved into position. Defensive satellites glowed with energy. The alien woman stood aboard the command vessel. Her eyes glowing brighter than ever, she whispered, "Now we see if your fire is strong enough." The first strike came suddenly. A beam of searing red light lanced from the enemy's flagship. A human carrier exploded in flames, debris scattering across the void. Cries of anger and fear filled the radios. But the human fleet held its ground. "Return fire," a general shouted, and the skies lit up. Missiles streaked forward. Beams of blue light fired from new weapons. Explosions rippled across the enemy lines. For the first time in history, Earth's people were fighting not against each other, but side by side. The battle grew fierce. Fighters clashed in swarms. Enemy ships hurled fire across the void. Humanity's vessels darted and weaved, some destroyed, some striking back with deadly precision. It was chaos, it was fire, it was war in the stars. The alien woman fought beside them, her ship glowing with strange energy. She moved with precision, cutting through enemy formations. Her voice guided human pilots. "Strike here, now turn there. They are vulnerable." With her help, Earth's fleet held on longer than anyone believed possible. But the enemy was strong. Their numbers were overwhelming. For every enemy ship destroyed, two more appeared. Human ships began to fall. One after another, carriers burst into fire. Fighters vanished into silence. The battle seemed endless. The leaders watching from Earth felt despair creep into their hearts. On the command deck, the alien woman's expression darkened. Her voice carried sorrow. "You fight with courage, but courage alone cannot win. The enemy has prepared for centuries. You must push beyond fear. You must become more than what you are." At that moment, a massive enemy warship advanced. Its weapons charged, aimed at Earth itself. If it fired, millions would die. The human fleet scrambled to stop it, but the enemy ship was too strong. Its shields deflected every strike. Silence filled the radios. Soldiers braced for the end. Then the alien woman stepped forward, her eyes glowing like suns. Her ship surged with power. She whispered, "This ends now," and flew directly toward the giant vessel. She unleashed a burst of energy so bright it blinded the battlefield. Her ship slammed into the enemy's shield, breaking through where no human weapon could. The explosion lit the sky. The enemy vessel shattered, but her ship vanished in the fire. The radios filled with silence. Pilots cried out, "She's gone, she sacrificed herself." For a moment, despair returned, but then something happened. Inspired by her courage, humanity fought harder than ever before. The generals shouted commands. Pilots flew with reckless bravery. Every weapon was unleashed. Every fighter pushed to its limit. The human fleet struck again and again, and slowly the enemy began to break. The battle raged for hours. The skies burned with fire and smoke. But in the end, the enemy ships retreated, dragging their broken vessels back into the darkness of space. Earth had survived, humanity had won, for now. On the ground below, the people of Earth cheered. Cities lit fires of celebration. Families wept with relief. Soldiers saluted the skies, but their joy was mixed with sorrow. For the alien woman, their guide, their ally, had vanished in the blaze, yet even as the world mourned, the leaders knew the truth. This was only the first battle. The war was far from over. The enemy had been driven back, not destroyed, and the memory of the alien woman's sacrifice burned in their hearts. Humanity had faced its first great trial and survived, but the greatest battles were still to come. The battle was over, the enemy ships had retreated. Their burning wrecks floated across the void, and Earth's skies glowed with the fire of victory. Humanity had fought and survived. The people cheered, the soldiers wept. The world felt the first breath of hope, yet in the command halls, the mood was not celebration, it was sorrow, for the alien woman who had guided them, who had given them strength, was gone. Her ship had vanished in the explosion that saved Earth. Many believed she had sacrificed herself to buy humanity a future. Across the world, her image spread. People lit candles. Children painted her likeness on walls. Soldiers whispered prayers in her name. She was remembered not as an alien stranger, but as a protector, a friend. Yet in the hearts of the leaders, a question burned: was she truly gone? Days passed. Repairs began. Factories rebuilt the fleet. Scientists studied wreckage from the enemy. Generals planned new defenses. Humanity did not rest, for they knew the enemy would come again, stronger, angrier, hungrier for destruction. Than one night, inside the underground chamber where it all began, the lights flickered, a low hum filled the air, and from the shadows a familiar figure appeared. It was her, the alien woman, alive though her body was weaker, her glow dimmer. Her voice was softer, yet filled with the same strength. The leaders gasped, some rushed forward. "You survived," one whispered. She shook her head gently. "Not survived, only returned for a time. My body burns with the energy I used to save you. Soon I will fade completely. But before I go, you must hear the truth." The chamber grew still. Every face turned toward her. The alien woman raised her hand, and once more visions filled the room. But this time it was not of hidden machines, nor of burning battles, it was of her own world. A beautiful planet covered in oceans of light, cities of crystal, skies filled with shimmering wings. She spoke with sorrow. "This was my home, my people lived in peace. We believed in wisdom, in beauty, in harmony. We never thought anyone would try to destroy us, but the enemy came as they came for you. They burned our oceans. They shattered our cities. They left nothing but ashes." The vision shifted, showing her people fighting desperately, but their weapons crumbling, their cities falling. We were not prepared. We thought peace would protect us. We thought distance would save us. But peace is only safe if you have the strength to defend it. Her voice broke for the first time, her glowing eyes flickering. "I am the last of them, the last who escaped. I carried their memories, their warnings. I carried the hope that another world would not suffer the same fate." The leaders listened in silence. Some lowered their heads in grief. Others clenched their fists in anger. She continued, "That is why I came to you. Not because I am stronger, but because I believe you are. Humanity has something my people never had. A fire that grows stronger after every wound. That fire is what the enemy fears." The vision changed again, showing humanity's own history. Great wars, terrible disasters, and yet always survival, always rebuilding, always rising, she whispered. "Your strength is not in your weapons, but in your spirit. You are fragile, yet unbreakable. That is why you must lead, not just for yourselves, but for others yet to be found in the stars." Her body trembled. The glow around her flickering, she was fading, but her eyes still burned with determination. "The enemy will return, stronger than before. But now they know Earth is not weak. You have shown them courage. You have shown them unity. They will fear you, but they will also hate you. You must be ready for wars greater than this one. Wars that will decide not just your world, but the fate of many." A general asked softly, "Why us? Why place this burden on humanity?" She looked at him with sad eyes. "Because there is no one else. My people are gone. Others hide in fear, but you rise even when broken. That is what the universe needs. A flame that will not die." Her glow dimmed further. Her body growing transparent, the leaders stepped forward, some reaching out as if to hold her. But their hands passed through her fading form. Her final words echoed like thunder in their hearts. Remember this, unity is your weapon, courage is your shield, and your fire is your destiny. Do not waste it. For the universe will call upon you and only humanity can answer. Her image flickered once more, and then she was gone. The chamber fell silent. Only her words remained, carved into the hearts of every leader present. Above the earth, the wreckage of battle still floated, but below, in the hearts of billions, a new fire burned. Humanity was no longer just a people of one planet. It was the rising defender of a galaxy yet unseen. The alien woman's truth had been revealed. The path was dangerous, the future uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity would no longer wait for destiny. It would shape it, fight for it, and lead it. And somewhere beyond the stars, the enemy waited, but now, for the first time, they were afraid.